to move the lead debate on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Export-Import Bank Cap 106 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to position the bank to be more effective in the discharge of its responsibilities for other related matters. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, it is with great honor that I rise to lead this debate on the general principles for an act to amend the Nigerian Export-Import Bank Act, Cap 106, laws of the Federation of Nigeria, and is a crucial step in repositioning NEXIM Bank for greater effectiveness in the discharge of its duties and other related matters. This bill, co-sponsored by all members of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, was first read on Thursday, 10th of October 2024 in these chambers. The context and imperative for reform. This amendment is part of a broader legislative agenda by the 10th Senate under your leadership, aimed at implementing forward-looking economic reforms that are essential for long-term national development. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, this amendment to NEXIM Act before us today is not an isolated initiative, but part of a broader and strategic reform agenda aimed at strengthening Nigeria's development finance architecture. In recent times, as we are all aware, the federal government has taken deliberate steps to recapitalize key development finance institutions, such as the Bank of Industry to the tune of about 500 billion, and of course the Bank of Agriculture to the tune of about 1.5 trillion. All these moves underscore the government's strong commitment to driving industrialization and agricultural development through financial support. In the same spirit, it is imperative that NEXIM should not be left behind. And that is the essence of this strategic reform. NEXIM, as we all know, is the principal institution dedicated to promoting and financing Nigeria's non-oil exports, and it plays a pivotal role in diversifying our economy, earning foreign exchange and creating jobs. So to effectively fulfill these crucial responsibilities and compete globally, the bank must be adequately recapitalized and placed under the most suitable supervisory framework. The background and role of NEXIM in national development. As we are all aware, NEXIM was established in 1991 with a mandate to promote and diversify Nigeria's export base through export credit, guarantees and risk insurance services. So it plays a pivotal role in providing access to finance for Nigerian exporters. It also enhances market access and also facilitates regional and global trade finance. However, over the years, NEXIM has operated under an outdated legal framework, limiting its ability to respond to current and emerging challenges. So this bill, therefore, seeks to overhaul that framework with amendments that are bold, visionary, and necessary. So I'll quickly just run through the key provisions and justifications. Number one is the need to increase the share capital. When NEXIM was established in 1991, the share capital was 50 billion. In dollar terms, that's about $33 million. That is way back in 1991, and it is still the same capital that it carries today. So clearly, it is grossly inadequate. And if you compare to other economies, Ghana, for example, has their own Exim Bank capitalized to the tune of about $80 million, while the Export Development Bank of Egypt is capitalized at about $420 million. Now, if you take it to Asia, India has about $2.4 billion, and of course, Korea too, another $19 billion. So the amendment that is being proposed is also to enhance the capitalization of NEXIM to about 1 trillion, just like the way the Bank of Agriculture has been enhanced to 1.5. So what that will give us in today's dollar terms will be about $650 million, which will be reasonable and also adequate to meet the expectations of our export trade businesses. Equally of importance is the need to improve the governance. So the bank too is being proposed to be restructured in a manner that the board will comprise of individuals with expertise in finance, export development, trade policy, and of course, sound decision making. So we need a stronger governance, and of course, we also need to align their practices to global best practices and also set clear criteria for appointing the managing directors and the executive directors under a merit-driven leadership and insulating the bank from politicization. Equally important is the establishment of an export promotion fund, and which of course will lead to an amendment of the Finance Act of 2023, in particular Section 13. And the essence of this is that the Export Promotion Fund will be the real game changer here, in the sense that it will provide a revolving and affordable finance base that the bank can leverage to also attract financing from other multilateral agencies. So in a nutshell, those are the key elements of the bill. And of course, it is also important that the supervisory oversight of the ministry is properly aligned with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. This amendment will formalize the transfer of the oversight of NEXIM from the Ministry of Finance to the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, which already manages agencies like Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nigerian and the Export Expansion Grant Scheme. This alignment will ensure policy coherence and position NEXIM to more effectively drive export diversification and industrial development, and of course align it with international best practices. And equally important is the mandatory reporting to the National Assembly, and this will be by way of regular oversight in order to ensure transparency and also accountability. So, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, this bill is not merely a legal document, it is one of the economic blueprint of this current administration. And of course, we believe it will retool one of our most strategic financial institutions for the urgent task of building a resilient, export-oriented and globally competitive Nigerian economy. So finally, in line with Order 76 Sub 3 of the Senate Standing Orders as amended, I confirm that this bill has no financial implications, and as such, no compendium is attached. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I respectfully urge us all to support the passage of this crucial legislation. Thank you, Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues.
Senator Solomon Olamileko.
In the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, this is a very technical bill. Technical in the sense that we are touching one of the major drivers of our export and import. In a nutshell, our balance of trade. And if you look at the objective, one of the key objectives of this proposed amendment is the share capital, that is the current capital base of this bank is nothing to write home about. Nothing. 50 billion since 1991 to date. Mr. President, this amendment is long overdue. It's long overdue. And I want to appeal to the committee that we should give this an expeditious passage because of the role and the importance of the NEXIM Bank in our economy. Mr. President, another important, very important issue as contained in this document is the Export Promotion Fund, the EPF. Mr. President, that is where it all happened. For all our exporters and importers, that is the fund that they can rely upon to drive their businesses. And I want to strongly believe that in the body of the bill, that is the details of the bill, we will have how fund or money will be raised into that particular account and how it will be utilized and the objective of this particular fund, because it's very critical that in all the amendment that this bill is sorting for, that EPF remain another very important item that we should all pay attention to. Generally, Mr. President, from the submission of the chairman of the committee, who has reeled out other objectives and reasons why this Senate should support the proposed amendment, I want to tag along with him and strongly believe that at the committee stage, a thorough job will be done to look into the major items by item as contained in the bill or the document that is before us. In that note, Mr. President, I support holistically that this bill be allowed to go for the second reading. I so submit.
Thank you. This bill is very, is direct to the point.
Magajin Dangin Lafiyan Bari Bari, and I represent Nasarawa West Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is a very, very important bill. Very, very important, because if all that is contained is taken or are taken to fruition, it is, of course, going to turn around the economic fortunes of Nigeria. One of the reasons why we suffer what we suffer is today, as it is, we stand as a consumer nation. And what will take us out of that enclave is to be a producer nation. And how do you produce? You produce to export to the rest of the world. And so for our local producers that do not have the requisite financial capacity to embark on exportation, strengthening NEXIM Bank will capacitate it to be able to support these producers for export, and the more we export, the more foreign currency we earn, and the more we earn, the deeper our foreign reserve becomes, and that strengthens our local currency. So it is a bill that needs to be supported by all. Thank you very much.
Well, as I said, this bill is very
Export and Import Bank. So basically trade. So this proposed amendment is very important.
Thank you, thank you,
so
Senator.
I support
1 minute.
Support the proposed
Thank you,
amendment.
Mr. President, and it's very important to the development of this country. That is why we are supporting this very important bill, considering the fact of agricultural nature of this country. And if you look at the country-to-country agreements, if this bill is established and supported, the export-oriented economy of this country will improve. That is where we have a lot of challenges, and we need to support this bill so that we can be able to make our export-oriented, to make our foreign reserve, and also make our industries workable, and also support the economic growth of this country. Mr. President, I am in total support of this bill, because if you look at the history, most of the cotton agricultural sector of groundnut, cocoa, and the rest are also export-oriented. That is what we depend on. So, Mr. President, I'm in support of this bill, and I'm totally in.
Those in favor, those against say nay, the ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate. Bank Act Cap 10N106 LFN 2004 to position the bank to be more effective in the discharge of its responsibilities, and for other related matters 2025, second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions report within 4 weeks. Let me commend the committee. Well, the committee, sponsor this bill, and it's going back to you. Well, we commend you for being proactive and working in tandem with our developmental needs. is quite commendable, what you are doing, because you are setting an agenda to reposition our economy, which is good. And the fact that you look at this bank is something that should be particularly commended for, because we need to support this bank as long as we are really serious about diversifying our export import regime. Because if this bank is not strong, that support needed to be given to entities that are involved in these kind of businesses will not really have somewhere to assist them, an entity to assist them. So by recapitalizing this entity, by repositioning its governance structure, by moving it from Minister of Finance to Minister of Trade and Industry, is something that you need to be commended for. And thank you very much, and more grace to help us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all the members.